Welcome to Hero Club.
I'm Nick Williams.
And I'm George Primavera.
George and I started playing Dungeons & Dragons with our buddies in college, and we haven't stopped since. Even when we lived on opposite coasts, I would Skype in George on the TV in the living room of my apartment,
while I would DM from the floor of my bathroom so as not to wake up my roommate. When I finally came out to Los Angeles, we started playing with our friends right away.
And when we'd inevitably tell other people about the ultimate betrayals and daring heroics that happened in our games, we realized that they were just hearing a jumbled mess instead of the cinematic blockbuster memories that were in our heads. We wanted to show people how fun and immersive D&D can be, especially those who had never played.
And to do that, we record a full game like normal around the table and then painstakingly cut it down from 4 hours to a clean, math-free episode, so you can experience our memories the way we do.
Just like in a real game, nothing is ever written or planned out ahead of time with the players. The only things we add are music and sound effects.
I am the Dungeon Master. I build the world and the framework for an adventure. The players, like Nick, must then journey through the obstacles I set before them, rolling a 20-sided die and adding character-specific bonuses to see if they succeed. If they beat the number I have in my head, then their action is successful. If not, it is a failure, and there may be consequences. We try to follow the rules of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition as close as we can, but as the Dungeon Master, what I say goes, and there are some things I like to do differently.
Each season is its own contained story, so find one that sounds interesting to you and start from the top. And hey,
welcome to the club.
This week on the podcast, our guest is Lelia Symington. Lelia, is there anything you want to say to the people?
Hello, friends. I am very glad to be here. I'm going to plug the feature film that my sister will be directing this summer that I will be starring in called Brute Force. And you can follow me on Instagram at Lelia Skips.
And a special thanks to PJ Byrne as well. Make sure to check out The Game and The Legend of Korra when both shows come to Netflix this month, and also catch him in Season 2 of The Boys on Amazon.
It was finally the night of the Arcana Auction. All the pieces were set, and we had an ironclad plan in place that would put General Patton to shame. But that wasn't for a few hours, and in the meantime, Chuck and I were going to try to make sense of the evidence we collected the night before. Was it really the night of the living viol? Or was Marblemouth up to his old tricks again? Some part of me knew that footage had all the answers.
Hero Club presents Paid Back in Spades, a Hank Blackstone mystery. Chapter 9, The Four Burglars.
Hank and Charlie sit in a darkened office at 9 p.m., a whirring projector in the center of Dante's Inferno, spitting Marblemouth's visage onto the wall. While Charlie stares intently at the footage, Hank finishes organizing an eclectic collection of objects in his pockets, readying himself for the duo's departure. Tonight is the night of the mysterious and ill-omened Arcana Auction.
Having woken up a half hour ago, Hank blearily goes through the items that he took off of Uncle Jack. Uncle Jack's coin, ID, and ticket to the Arcana Auction. Along with those items, Hank pockets the lightning orb from before, the Atlantean earpieces, and the switchbags, along with his normal bric-a-brac, including cards and various materials for his spells.
On the wall across the room, the guard interviewing Marblemouth loses his mind for the 9th time that evening. Charlie once again rewinding the footage, desperately searching for something they may have missed. Charlie appears much more jittery than usual.
Hank, oh man. I didn't think this would work, but I guess coffee works on me if I just kind of rub it into my stones. Oh, I think I like this. I think I hate this. I'm not really quite sure. Do you see anything? Do you see anything weird about this, about this little clip here?
Just try to focus on the footage, Chuck. I know we're missing something. Last night, before I went to bed, I was looking through some old Dante books that I have in my room, and I found something on Wind from Nowhere. Apparently, it's a sign that there's some sort of dark presence. It's a side effect of them being there. I know if we look hard enough, we can figure out what's happening to that guard.
Okay, yeah, sure. Checks out to me, yeah, sure. Sorry, I didn't get any sleep last night. I mean, I don't really have to sleep, but I just didn't get any, oh, wow. Whew. I love this. I hate this.
Both of you make an investigation check as you stare at the footage intently.
25.
8.
Charlie can't seem to focus on one piece of the film, his scattered brain pulling him in different directions just as he's starting to focus on something significant. However, Hank, you once again fixate on the area around Marblemouth. You see the wind from nowhere tousle his hair, his expression stony and unchanging. As the guard's mind unravels, the wind intensifies slightly, and when he is pulled from the room by his compatriots, the wind settles.
Well, whatever this evil presence is, it's definitely doing something to that guard. You can see right there, the wind gets more intense when the guard starts to go bananas.
Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty freaky to me, yeah.
Let me take that back one more time. Hank attempts to cross-reference the footage of the wind with magical effects that he has learned.
Roll an Arcana check.
21.
Hank, you remember one specific instance far in your past where Dante was teaching you how to cast little bolts of fire from your fingertips. You recall how surprised you were when you cast the fireball, wind blew papers all across the room, prompting a large guffaw from Dante. You gather that this wind may have been caused by the casting of a spell rather than the presence of something evil and dark. Though the two could certainly both be true.
Some sort of spell being cast, Chuck, on this guard, but I just can't put my finger on it.
Wait, hold on a second, Hank. Where is it? Where is it? Over here. Charlie moves over to the bookshelves.
Charlie, roll a history check.
15.
Charlie, you're not able to find any specific spell. However, cross-referencing other spell descriptions with the footage that you are seeing, you think that perhaps this kind of magic may be the sort that is referred to in many of the texts as forbidden, especially due to the dark nature of the spell.
Wait, Hank, I think I've heard about these spells before. You're not supposed to use them. They're forbidden magic. They violate the laws of nature. Wait, what if we check in the Necronomicon?
I don't know. I don't think we should be reading in the Necronomicon, Chuck. That seems dangerous.
Hank, roll a deception check.
17.
Charlie, roll an insight check.
9. Yeah, you're probably right. But I mean, we gotta figure out what this is, Hank.
All right, but I don't like it. Hank goes and gingerly retrieves the Necronomicon from its place in the vault, putting it down on a table in front of the film and flipping through it, specifically looking for anything that matches what's happening to the guard.
As soon as Hank opens the book, it seems that the light exuded by the projector dims slightly. Shadows creep around the corners a little more aggressively, and a little bit of dread fills the air. Hank, Charlie, make a charisma save.
15.
17.
Hank, Charlie, as the book opens, both of you blink involuntarily a bit. Charlie, before your very eyes, the color around the room begins to disappear slightly. Everything becomes a dull, muted gray color. You feel a little sick to your stomach and you lurch forward onto the desk where the Necronomicon is splayed out. Hank, the ringing in your ears returns.
Hank pushes through the familiar discomfort and attempts to cross-reference the book with the film again.
As soon as Hank moves to turn one page, on its own, the pages suddenly flurry, rapidly moving to a different page until eventually it stops, and you see completely untranslated text, a page you haven't really read before, Hank.
Hank attempts to decipher the page.
Roll an Arcana check.
5.
Nothing.
Chuck, you want to take a look at this page? I think the book's trying to tell us something.
All right, let me take a look at it.
Charlie, roll an Arcana check.
7.
Hank, Charlie, as you both stare at the pages, you feel your limbs turn to jelly slightly. Both of you suddenly feel a bit weaker. You close the book, coming up short once again. Both of you reduce your strength ability score by 2. Hank, as this weakness enters your body, please roll an Arcana check.
17.
You feel a definitive energy flowing from you into the book. This is where your strength has gone. However, you feel a reverse flow of energy flow into your fingertips from where you have closed the book, and suddenly you feel an unnatural instinct in your mind. you feel the need to search for something. A light.
Oh, what the hell am I thinking? The moonlight flashlights. Chuck, do you still have those?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, sure. Coats. Yeah, coats. Yeah, they're in my coat. Hold on. Yeah, I just thought about coats, and wow, they're in my coat. Charlie reaches into his coat and finds the moonlight flashlight and brings it over to the Necronomicon.
Hank takes it from Charlie's hands, flicks it on, and shines it at the film.
And as soon as you do, the moonlight flashlight illuminates around Marblemouth's head a faint, projected image of a violin. And as you play the film, as the wind begins to kick up, you see a spectral bow tear across the strings, the guard then throwing his hands to his ears, supposedly begging Marblemouth to cease. And with the final gust of wind as the violin hits its last note, the guard is pulled from the room by his fellows. It would seem Marblemouth has found a focus after all.
So somehow he's still casting spells with that violin, even without holding it.
Oh my God. Wait, Hank, don't you remember him saying something along the lines of, I don't play the music plays me? What if it's not him doing it? What if he's being controlled by someone or something?
I think you're right, Chuck. But I just don't know why whatever it is would want Marblemouth to be behind bars.
Maybe it's so we think the source of all this evil is behind bars while it continues to carry out its nefarious deeds. I'm just spitballing here. Oh, does coffee cause anxiety? Because I feel like my anxiety is there. It's at like an 8, but the coffee's bringing it to like a 14, you know?
It'll pass, Chuck, but we've got to stay on our toes. Whatever's doing that to Marblemouth is still out there, and it probably made those tunnels under the city. I don't like any of this, but we're going to be late for the Arcana Auction if we don't go now.
Oh, right, the Arcana Auction. I almost forgot. Should I have more coffee before we leave or less?
No.
Okay.
All right, Chuck, remember the plan. I'm going to change my appearance to look just like Uncle Jack and get in using his ticket. You can change up how you look so you can come with me as my hired muscle. Once we're in, we'll find a Hearn, and we'll outbid every son of a bitch until we get that clover. Hank takes out his Atlantean earpieces and hands one to Chuck. Here, pop one of those in case we get separated.
All right, you got it. Are you sure you want me posing as your hired muscle? I mean, I'm not that great of an actor. I don't want to blow our cover.
Chuck, don't take offense to this, but with your size and your voice, you sound exactly like any hired gamook.
You think I sound like a gamook?
I think people could probably assume that you're not smart even though you're smart.
I got gamook energy is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all right. But as long as I don't have to say much, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah, just stay strong and silent and scary. That's your goal.
Hey, my name's Monty, and I beat people up for a living. How's that?
Nailed it.
Don't ask me any follow-up questions. Don't you dare do it.
Okay, don't push it. Just stick with the first part.
I like beef.
Okay, you're getting further away from it. Let's just go.
Cutting outside, the walk over to the West Village goes quite quickly. This weekend in the city is eerily quiet. After New York City's Rikers cover-up was blown by the widespread rumors that a dangerous criminal had been transferred to the abandoned prison, the bridges swiftly closed once again. It would appear that most of the city has decided to remain safe at home.
Hank, were you okay last night? It seems like you slept for a while.
Yeah, my sleep cycle's just been all over the place. I couldn't sleep until 6 this morning, and then I completely crashed until 8:30. So I don't know what to tell you, Chuck.
Yeah, it's a long sleep. I had some trouble with my sleep last night, but I don't know. I mean, telling people your dreams is always so boring. I don't want to bore you.
Yeah, probably for the best.
I woke up outside Dante's Inferno. I didn't know how I got there. And I'm talking about, I was on the street, so that wasn't great. I had a dream about Marblemouth, and he was showing me a deck of cards, and there was like another me there. I don't know, this is probably really boring you. We can just keep walking if you want, but...
Wait. You woke up outside? Holding Alvira's deck?
Yeah, is that normal? Do people wake up outside?
No, that's not normal, Chuck. Why didn't you lead with that?
I don't know. I don't know how I got the deck either. Thank God I didn't open it.
That's an understatement, Chuck. I mean, if you pulled the wrong card in your sleep, it could mean the end of the world as we know it.
All right, well, we gotta keep it locked up or something. I'm new to dreams. I'm new to this whole sleep thing. I'm sorry, Hank. I should have told you sooner.
Why are you even sleeping? I thought you didn't need to sleep.
I don't know, Hank, but you haven't wanted to talk about it the last times I brought it up, so I'm sorry.
Well, I feel like you were burying the lead. I mean, you were talking about your kooky dreams. You weren't saying that you woke up with the literal Alvira's deck in your hands and almost ruined everything.
That didn't happen until last night. That's new.
All right, when we get back, we're going to figure out a safer place for that deck. I'm not even going to tell you where it is. I'm just going to hide it.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Sorry. I'm new to dreams. I'm new to coffee. I'm weird right now, okay?
Hank and Charlie resume walking. The jelly-like feeling in their limbs still has not worn off.
We should never look in the Necronomicon again. I'm sorry I suggested that. I wanted to know what was happening in that footage.
Yeah, it's definitely too dangerous. I don't know what I was thinking.
Hey, do your limbs still feel like jelly?
Hank and Charlie enter the West Village and very quickly find the sign that says, "The Drop and the Bucket." A cute little cartoon of, quite literally, a drop splashing into a bucket just under the moniker.
Well, this is the place. It seems like sort of a cutesy spot for an underground Arcana auction.
Yeah, it seems kind of above ground for an underground Arcana auction.
Hank pushes his way into the door of the bar.
The Drop and the Bucket is a sticky establishment. Sloppy jazz blares from the corner of the room, and drunken patrons totter back and forth, heavily slamming into each other with sloshing glasses and tankards. The name of the bar is painted across the back wall, and a lumpy bald man polishing a glass with a clearly dirty cloth stares around the room with beady eyes. As you approach the bar, he sets the glass down.
What'll it be, fellas?
I'll do a scotch neat. Make it a double. And, I was also in the mood for something a little more arcane.
Nonplussed, the man stares at you.
You know, arcane. Hank gives the man a meaningful stare. Arcane.
You are very bad at this.
Look, buddy, I got tickets.
What tickets?
Just give me the scotch.
The man does so.
Hank slaps $1 down on the bar. Keep it open. I'll cover whatever he orders.
I will have a Mai Tai, please.
A Mai Tai?
It is a fruit-infused Hawaiian beverage, utilizing rum and coconut.
Hey man, we got a 3-ingredient max on drinks here.
I'll just have a rum and coke.
Charlie holds a tall glass that bubbles with coke and rum.
I like that carbonated water. I'm a tough guy.
Hank walks the perimeter of the room, looking for any signs that there's more to the bar than meets the eye.
Hank, make a perception check.
10.
Hank stares around the bar to no avail for about 2 minutes, until suddenly he notices that the bathroom door to the far, far back of the establishment opens slightly, and a man sidles out. Normally, this wouldn't seem odd, except for the man's attire. He wears a completely blue suit, has slicked back hair, and eccentric facial hair, waxed and styled, and bright blue as well. He looks around shiftily for a moment, and then disappears down a back door that clearly leads down some stairs.
Hank grabs Chuck. Now that man knows what arcane means.
Yeah, I saw him. I mean, wow, we have to follow him, right?
Yeah, he's a pretty standard cut-and-dry wizard, if you ask me. Hank stealthily leads Charlie down the stairway after the man.
Both of you make a stealth check.
Nat 20.
17.
Hank and Charlie silently creep down the stairs. They hear the creaks ahead of them as the blue fellow walks all the way down and successfully avoid any creaking of their own. They are now in a bar cellar. Food stores and barrels of beer. A rat skitters over Hank's boot. When Hank and Charlie peek out into the main cellar, they see the blue fellow look over his shoulder left, look over it to the right, and then wave his right hand forward, and one of the dingy barrels lifts upward off the ground magically and floats away, revealing a small square door that looks like it was made for someone 3 feet tall. The man dusts off his knees, begins to crawl, and disappears inside the hole, the door slamming shut behind him.
Hank waits a beat, giving the man a decent lead. and then goes to open the door himself.
It creaks open, and Hank is met with a blast of cold air.
Hank begins to crawl stealthily into the opening.
Considering his size, it's a bit of a struggle, but Charlie just manages to get through the door.
After crawling for an additional 5 or 6 feet, Hank and Charlie suddenly are able to stand up in a dark, rough-walled cavern, lit with small torches held aloft in iron sconces. Both of you make a perception check.
16.
23.
Hank, the echoing conversation for you is completely indiscernible, but Charlie, laying his rock hand along the stone wall, feels the vibrations in the rock and is able to more clearly hear what is being said.
Tickets, please.
And then a long, exuberant response, apparently in French.
I think if there was a magical auction to be found, we found it.
All right, Chuck, it looks like it's time to make the change. Hank places both hands palm out in front of him before using them to frame his face. He then begins to slowly slide them over his visage, saying the words, Alexeme. As his hands pass over his body, Hank changes form, perfectly embodying Uncle Jack in stature and appearance. Hank turns to Charlie and says,
Top of the morning, Chuck.
Oh, wow. You look and sound like an old Irishman who tried to kill us.
Yeah, it's pretty solid, right?
Oh, hello there. I'm Uncle Jack, and I got me bloody head cut off.
Ha, he would say that probably. Hey Hank, let's go inside, huh?
Yeah, quick, why don't you change your appearance just in case we meet a friendly face in there?
Charlie uses his glasses of disguise to transform himself into an Irishman with a big build and a big red beard. Oh, hello, boyo. I'm doing it right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's head in there.
Hank and Charlie progress a little further down the cave, and after a few hundred feet, they reach a beautifully ornate wooden door with gold and silver inlay, standing outside of which is a man who seems to be analyzing the ticket of the French fellow dressed completely in blue. After staring at it for what seems like a beat too long, he lets the man forward, just barely cracking open the artistically made door. Hank and Charlie are unable to see what is beyond it as the man slips inside, and the security guard looks forward, seeing Hank and Charlie in their altered forms, and before they reach him, says, Tickets, gentlemen.
Why, of course, boy. Thought you'd never ask.
Hank produces his ticket and hands it to the man.
The man takes the ticket from Hank. And who's this fellow?
Well, this is me hired bodyguard, son. I don't go anywhere without him.
Roll a deception check with advantage.
20.
The man looks up at Charlie, scrutinizing him, nods, and says, I hate to have to do this, Mr. O'Connor, but I do need a second form of ID if you're going to be bringing anybody forward.
Naturally. Here.
Hank produces Uncle Jack's golden coin and flicks it over to the man.
Very good. Enjoy the Arcana Auction, gentlemen. He returns the coin.
Hank tips Uncle Jack's newsboy cap and walks into the room.
Charlie nods to the guard as he passes by.
The door swings open, and Hank and Charlie gaze out into a courtyard. Dewy grass underfoot and a light breeze in the air. The pair are shocked to find themselves outside, a glorious display of stars overhead. Foldable, cushy chairs are scattered around a lawn, around a small stage with a podium front and center, with AA emblazoned on it. The folks in attendance are an eccentric bunch. The man in blue who had entered just previously jabbers away in French to a few friends gathered around him.
Et donc j'ai dit, si l'un peut voler, pourquoi changer ses chaussures? Sacré bleu!
A woman with a sparkling golden pair of glasses in otherwise exceptionally normal day attire organizes auction paddles at her side as she confers with a butler. Two exceptionally short fellows stand on one another's shoulders to reach a buffet of smoking glasses filled with red liquid. There's an electricity in the air.
Hank leans over and clinks glasses with Chuck. We're in.
Cheers, boss.
Hank mills around the room, subtly looking for Ahern.
Charlie follows Hank around, not wanting to talk to anybody.
Both of you make a perception check.
9.
9.
Hank and Charlie look for a solid 10 minutes, completely unable to find him.
I mean, leprechauns are famously hard to find, but this is ridiculous.
Hard to find? I was just saying that about you two. Charlie, good to see you. I assume that's you, Hank? You slowly turn around to see Kit Rockefeller.
Charlie tries his best to act like he's really an Irishman, but the glasses of disguise do not change his voice. Hey, listen there, boyo. You better back off me friend over here. He's not one to be trifled with, you daft bastard.
As you push Kit back, he taps you on the hand and says, Charlie, come on now, I can see you.
I don't know who you're talking about, you fucking gamook.
He taps his glasses. You guys sure pulled one over on me for quite a long time, but they clued me in. As you pull your hand away, you see a golden triangle on Kit Rockefeller's lapel.
Of course you're in the Illuminati, Kit, of course. Hi, I assume you can see me?
Yes, I can.
The rocks.
The rocks. All the rocks.
This is awkward.
Doesn't need to be. Everything can go as planned tonight. I'm simply here to oversee. Mr. informed me as to what your exact task is here, and I'm just here to make sure that it follows through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to protect your interests, so, I'm gonna bid high. I'll do my best. Kit.
He puts an arm around Hank's shoulder and says, Hank, I know our last interaction was a little tense. I'm sorry if I flew off the handle. What do you say I buy you a drink and we smooth things over? Sound good?
Hank slaps Kit's arm away.
Don't be touching me, boyo. Do you even know who you're talking to now?
Roll a deception check.
11.
Kit rolls an 8. What, Hank? Hank, that's you, right?
Who the fuck is Hank? Back the fuck off before you get hurt.
He steps back a little shocked. Charlie, who is this guy?
Yeah, I just met this guy. I think he's part of the Irish mob. I don't know. He's really slurring his words. I don't think he's right in the head.
Roll a deception check, Charlie, with advantage.
19.
Kit rolls a 16. Oh, shit. Sorry, sir.
That's right. You better be sorry.
Kit, what? Do you think Hank and I do everything together? Come on, we're not attached to the hip.
Oh, so Hank sent you alone?
Yeah, what? You don't think I can do this on my own? He's got other stuff to do.
Oh, no, Charlie, I'm sorry, I didn't presume. Well, you just stick with me and get away from this weird fellow, and we'll take care of this auction together then.
Yeah, sure.
Fine by me. The air around here is starting to smell a little too much like rich arsehole.
Go home, old man, you're drunk.
Fuck the both of you.
Hank walks away from the two towards the bar.
Kit pulls Charlie aside. Well, all right, Charlie, old sport. Looks like we're doing this one together. A little Kit and Charlie team up. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it will, it's gonna be something.
So tell me about the rocks.
Listen, I don't really want to get into that. It's kind of personal. You can understand.
I'm sure you understand my employers are very curious as to your, composition.
I just really don't feel comfortable.
As soon as Hank is out of eyesight, he talks into his Atlantean earpiece to Chuck.
Chuck, you gotta ditch Kit. Just say it's safer if you guys spread out or something.
Listen, kid, I know you want to have a good old-fashioned team-up with me, but if you're here to oversee, don't you think it's kind of suspicious if we sit together? If we mingle?
I suppose you're right. It would be good to cover more ground, and maybe I sit on the right, you sit on the left, and we make sure nobody tries to snake the clover out from under us.
Yeah, great. You sit all the way to the right, and I'll sit all the way to the left. How about that?
Perfect.
Great.
Kit, after having walked away a few steps, suddenly returns to Charlie. Oh, Charlie, sorry, I was supposed to let you know. This is their words, not mine. If you double-cross us, there will be no corner of the earth you can hide. That was what they told me to tell you, and I'm just supposed to, relay what happened here tonight. So, let's not make anything weird and tense. I know we've already had a tiff or two, both of us keeping our cards close to our chest as to our true motivations and involvement, but there's no reason not to trust each other now, I think, now that all has been laid out.
Charlie looks at him for a good hard beat. Noted.
Kit winks at Charlie and goes over to the opposite side of the room, taking a seat on one of the foldable cushions. Hank, over at the bar, picks up one of the smoking glasses filled with red liquid when suddenly, a short man steps up onto the platform, and after pulling on both ends of his mustache in an exaggerated fashion, he speaks with a louder, projected voice.
Welcome, distinguished wizards, warlocks, sorcerers, and artificers. Before we get to the nitty and the gritty this evening, we have a special treat for you. Presenting, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, John and June Reno's Flights of Fancy.
As the applause kicks up, a man in top hat and tails, gesturing with a wand, wordlessly and flamboyantly takes the stage, gesturing behind a curtain. As he does, an enormous tank full of water slowly rolls center stage, garnering polite, appreciative applause. As the man gestures once again, now a woman joins him in glitzy sequined tails of her own. Hank, you recognize this woman immediately.
Jan?
In a flurry of activity that seems to pass in the blink of an eye, Jan, or June, is suddenly bound by thick, whirling chains and suspended in the air as the man waves the wand with a flourish. Music swells from nowhere as the woman floats upward, pushing against the chains dramatically to emphasize their security, and suddenly she begins to hover above the water sloshing inside the tank. The music cuts, and then she drops into the water. There's a beat of silence as the water sloshes around the tank. The music once again kicks up. The man with the coat and tails begins to dance wildly around the stage, simply gesturing back towards the tank as he throws a curtain over it, obscuring it from view. He looks cheekily at the audience, and suddenly the water sloshing within the tank stops. Unconvincingly, the man feigns horror, holding his hands to his cheeks in an exaggerated, movie-like fashion. He runs over to the tank, putting his ear to the curtain, whips it off, and the tank is empty. There's again a polite applause. The crowd seems relatively unimpressed, until suddenly, there is a massive explosion of rainbow-colored smoke. Sparkles fill the air above the patrons' heads, and flocks of multicolored birds fly out into the night. And standing on one of the tables, in a completely different outfit, is the woman from before. This time, the applause is thunderous.
Thank you all. Oh, you are too kind. Well, the auction is almost up, so get your pocketbooks out and get ready for the thrill of the year.
There's applause once again, and the eclectic bunch of folks begin to more rapidly organize themselves, gathering auction paddles and leaving a countertop filled with images, supposedly the items that are going to be auctioned for the evening. The woman steps off the table, the man joins her off the stage but in front of it, and they take a long, lengthy bow, moving behind the stage and to a tent that appears to be set up about 100 feet back. There are several glitzy performers in this area, milling about and refreshing themselves with water and food.
Hank talks into his earpiece once more.
Chuck, I'm gonna go say hi to Jan. You keep an eye on Kit.
Okay, sure. Will you tell her hi from me?
Of course.
Charlie, you feel a tap on your shoulder. It's Kit.
Oh, God. Hey,
I just had this great idea of how we can communicate back and forth while sitting on opposite sides of the room. Here, check this out. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out, these are called Atlantean earpieces. Here, put one in your ear.
Charlie puts the Atlantean earpiece in his other ear, so now he has two in, one with a line to Hank and one with a line to Kit. Oh, wow, so interesting and new and cool for me.
Kit puts his in, and you hear his voice speaking in real life as well as it speaking into your ear. The feedback is quite irritating. So you can hear me, right? You can hear me in both?
Hey, Kit, why don't you... I think the feedback's kind of intense. Why don't
Testing.
Let's just keep our distance, Kit. Let's keep our distance. I can hear you just fine. Let's just keep our distance.
All right, I'll go over there.
Yep, go over there.
This is very exciting. It's like an operation.
Still hearing the feedback, Kit. Further.
It's good.
Further.
How about now?
You know what? Go into the bathroom, Kit.
All right, I'll be right back.
Just go to the bathroom for a little
Probably
bit.
a good time anyway.
Yeah, just go. Oh my God.
Hank is watching this all happen from across the room.
Charlie takes Kit's Atlantean earpiece out of his ear and puts it in his pocket. Did you get all that? Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to be more careful, Chuck. Maybe you should keep a closer watch on him just in case anything goes sideways.
Yeah, I got my eye on the bathroom from way across the room. Go say hi to Jan, all right?
Hank heads into the tent behind the stage.
A few performers eye Hank suspiciously, not recognizing him, especially considering he's still disguised as the mobster Uncle Jack. Jan is in the corner, taking a bit of makeup off her face in a mirror.
Hank, in his Uncle Jack voice, says to the performers who aren't Jan,
Excuse me, but could I get a moment of privacy with this young lady here? I need to congratulate her on such a spectacular performance.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage.
16.
Several of the performers look at Jan as if to seek her approval.
June, aka Janet, looks over and sizes up the strange Irish man. Deciding he's probably not a threat, she says, "It's all right, let him in."
The performers all hesitantly abandon the tent, leaving Jan and Uncle Jack alone.
"I'm guessing you want an autograph or something? If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to change into something a little more comfortable first." Janet walks behind the changing screen. A few moments later, she reappears, and her version of something a little more comfortable is a blue silk leotard and black stockings underneath a teal-colored sheer robe with feathers at the collar and cuffs and matching kitten heels. She's taken most of the pins out of her hair so her brown curls fall around her shoulders. Her mouth and eyes have little wrinkles around them, showing off her sideways grin and signature eye twinkle.
Hank is completely sideswiped by this and accidentally speaks in his normal voice. "Oh, wow. Jan."
How did you know Who are you?
"Oh, right. Sorry, the old Irish guy face." Hank snaps his fingers and immediately takes his normal form.
Well, gosh. In all the bars in all the world, I never expected to see you, Hank. It's sure been a while. Janet walks over and plants a little kiss on Hank's cheek.
"Yeah, how long has it been? 15, 20 years, maybe?"
Oh, God, we were just spring chickens back then, huh?
"Yeah. How's everything been? You're, I should say, June Reno now, right?"
Correct. I'm a married woman now. And you're a big Irish guy now. How's that going for you?
"Yeah, it's kind of a long story. I'm here on a job, actually. Running a grift. Just like the old days."
Well, some things never change. Hank, I gotta tell you, you look a little worn down.
"Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened in the last few years. Fighting the things that go bump in the night in this city hasn't been the idealistic job that I dreamed it was. I'm assuming you heard about Flight Night."
Well, of course I heard about Flight Night. Oh my God! Hank, is your ear missing?
Hank awkwardly attempts to cover it with one hand. "Oh, yeah, it's just a byproduct of the job, I guess."
You're a regular Van Gogh. Funny how you can always make things look so... well. Anyway, it's good to see you.
"It's good to see you, too."
Charlie chimes in through the Atlantean earpieces and talks to Hank.
"Hank, tell her I said hi."
"Oh, right. Sorry."
"I'm just in the next room staring at a bathroom. I heard everything you guys were saying. Tell her I said hi."
"Jan, Chuck is here and he says hi."
What? Charlie? Well, tell him to quit being rude and get over here.
"Well, see, that's kind of the thing. We're, that grift I was telling you about, it's, active, currently."
Oh, sure. Top secret stuff. Well, actually, I'm here to purchase something of my own.
"Let me guess. Clover?"
Clover? No, I never heard of it.
"Oh, well, sorry, I just assumed everyone in New York is looking for this fucking thing. That's why I'm here."
Oh. Is it dangerous?
"Well, like almost anything you can buy here, it's dangerous in the wrong hands. And that's kind of my job tonight, keeping it out of those hands. There's a lot going on. It's a really long story, but basically I'm trying to get this thing into the hands of a leprechaun who it was stolen from years ago, and away from the Illuminati who, yes, do exist."
Gee, some year you've had, huh?
Hank takes that in and feels just how exhausted he is. "Yeah, it's, some 5. To be honest, it's really good to see you. I've been burning the candle at both ends, really. It's more of a..."
"Hey, sweetie, who's this?"
Oh, John. Well, this is Hank. Hank, this is my husband, John. John, Hank, John.
"Hi, Hank, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm John."
Charlie chimes in through the earpiece.
"Hank, I feel like this could be a weird situation for you. Is this weird for you? Are you being awkward? Don't be awkward."
Hank turns to the man, but doesn't extend his hand. "Oh, yeah, hi. Nice to meet you."
The man, quickly letting Hank off the hook, retracts his hand and says,
"So, How do you know my beautiful wife here?
Jan jumps in. We used to work together. Before Vegas. Before you, sweetie.
Hank's cold gaze turns from John back to Jan. Yeah, worked together. Huh. What was that we used to work together on? June?
Well, you know, work things. Things of work. John, sweetie, pack up the rest of the equipment, would ya?
John, immediately picking up on how awkward this is, hands his wife a smoking glass of red liquid.
Oh, sure. Yeah, listen, well, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna go unpack the stuff, so if you need me, just give a shout. Nice to meet you there, Hank, right? Okay, Hank, good stuff.
And John goes ahead and starts packing everything up.
Seems like a real swell guy.
That's quite enough out of you.
I'm sorry, I just never pictured you with a square like that. You know, a buttoned-up white-collar sort of guy. I'm assuming he didn't do any of the magic on that stage.
Well, if you must know, no. But the guy shows up, which is more than I can say for some other people.
Whoa, ouch, Hank, ouch, whoa.
I seem to recall that you were the one who left, Jan. I didn't change anything. I stayed right here.
That's right. You didn't change anything. Well, history is history. So I'm gonna go get my thing, and you're gonna get your thing, and I'll stay out of your way, and you stay out of mine. Unless, you know, you're in a little over your head.
In over my... You know me better than that. I can handle myself. I should never have come back here.
Don't be proud, Hank. Ask for help. Can I help you? I would like to help you.
No, I think I can handle it on my own. You just stay safe. Hank picks up the smoking red cocktail and downs it.
Make a constitution save.
4.
As soon as Hank downs the red liquid, smoke billows out of his nose, causing him to cough and sputter.
Christ, Hank, what were you thinking?
Honey, does your friend need a tissue?
I think he'll be all right, sweetheart. Thank you.
What the hell is that?
Well, Hank, that was the menstrual blood of a magma bear. And it wasn't for you. It was for me.
That's what people are drinking in Vegas these days? Magma bear menstrual blood?
I don't have to tell you anything about my private life.
During this weird tiff, Kit walks back over to Charlie holding auction paddles. Hey, Charlie, I think the earpieces might be malfunctioning. Can you test yours really quick?
Yeah, hold on one sec. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Test. Can you hear me?
Must be on the fritz. Damn.
I don't know. Well, you know, we can just probably communicate just from across the room using like hand signals or something. Try to make them look as ridiculous as possible. That way no one will perceive you as a threat.
Good strategy. All right.
I'll let you do most of the signaling too, since you're a leader. You're a natural-born leader.
I am a natural-born leader. Here, why don't you take the auction paddle? You be the one to bet.
Got it. Thanks, kid.
Everyone, the auction is soon to begin. Please take your seats.
Okay,
all right,
remember.
good luck. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, no, you go.
No, sorry, you go.
Just cough really loud if you want me to bet. How about that?
Perfect. And he walks to the other side of the room.
Hank, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. You should probably get down here. The auction's starting.
Yeah, Chuck, you're right. Look, Jan, there are some pretty unsavory characters out there. I just want to make sure you stay safe, okay?
I can take care of myself, Hank. Now, I gotta get down there. If they're starting, I need to make sure I get what I came here for.
Yeah, me too. It was good seeing you, Jan.
This is not goodbye. I want to say hi to Charlie.
Well, he's out there. He looks like a big Irish guy with a beard. Since you last saw him, he got these great glasses that Dante left him. They can change his appearance. It's really saved us money on makeup and stuff.
Oh. Well, if you remember how to be a gentleman, I'd like to take your arm and walk down there together.
Hank quickly casts Alter Self again, changing back into Uncle Jack. Alexei.
Woo!
Yeah, sorry, you'll just have to have a weird old Irish guy on your arm if that's okay with you.
Fine by me. Let's go.
Hank sticks the crook of his arm out and leads Jan into the auction.
Everybody is gathering at their seats. Soon, Hank and Jan are next to Charlie and take their seats. Jan leaning over and hugging him.
Oh, Charlie. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you too, Jan. Oh my God, the show was fantastic.
Well, thank you. I've been spiffing up my act.
Well, it's pretty spiffy. Wow, I haven't seen you since we took that trip to the Poconos together. You, me, and Hank, the two of you fighting the whole time. It was great.
That's right. Who knew rocks could streak?
Oh, they can, all the way, baby.
Good times.
Eventually, the room settles all on its own. There's a solid 5 minutes of silence as just the sound of distant crickets fills the air. And then finally, a dark-featured man takes the stage, seemingly swathed in shadow, and suddenly he is illuminated by a light from nowhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arcana Auction.
A roar of applause. The man takes his place behind the podium, and suddenly, his personality grows exuberant.
First up on the block tonight, the Orb of Emotion.
An enormous crystal ball is wheeled out behind the auctioneer. As it's wheeled out, it changes colors from red to yellow to blue to green, etc.
Dating all the way back to 1720, this object forged by the Archmagi of Barcelona can change your emotional state at will with a simple touch. Anger to joy, sadness to exuberance, anxiety to tranquility. Let's start the bidding at $300,000.
Man, people will pay a lot just to get their hands on some junk, right? I've seen like 3 of those in 1 month.
While the auctioneer talks, Hank scans the room again for a Hearn.
Roll a perception check.
19.
This time you get a good look at the room and still find nothing.
God, where is that leprechaun? Chuck, we're just gonna have to take it on faith that a Hearn is somewhere in here watching. When you win the clover, put it in your switch bag, and I'll get it the hell out of here.
Great idea, Hank. Got it.
Going twice. Sold to the man in blue, $790,000.
The Frenchman in blue steps up with an exuberant cry, leaps up on stage, and heftily grabs the orb, handing it to several of his also blue-clad associates.
The Orb of Emotion sold to Mr. Pierre Winkle. Congratulations, sir. Second up on the block tonight, a beautiful addition to our modern section. The Pendrake brothers, friends of the auction, have donated these beautiful gold alloy mechanical wings, powered by Egyptian Anubis gems recovered from King Tut's tomb. Shall we begin at $500,000?
Anubis gems for $500,000? Come on.
People like wings. It's a crowd pleaser.
People like the aesthetics of wings, but they're useless. You can't fly with them.
What is it, a mantelpiece?
Basically, yeah.
Going twice. Thank you, miss. Please take the stage.
A woman steps up in a completely red dress that changes colors as she walks forward, waves a rigid and bent-looking wand, and the wings seem to magically gather up and float after her as she waves appreciatively to the crowd.
Very well done. Third up on the block tonight, if you'll wheel that out for me. This is a bit small, if you can see everyone. This object has a rather small bibliography behind it. We have dubbed it the Key of Unknown Origin, and we will start the bidding off at $50,000.
Janet raises her paddle.
$50,000, thank you, miss.
Another man across the room also raises his paddle.
$75,000 to the gentleman.
Janet shoots him a dark look and raises her paddle again.
$100,000 to the lady here, thank you, miss.
Hank looks at Jan in shock. $100,000 for a mysterious key? Are you crazy?
Like I said, Hank, you mind your business, and I mind mine.
Do I hear $200,000? Thank you very much, sir. Do I hear $3? $200,000 going once, going twice.
Janet raises her paddle.
$300,000 to the woman over here, thank you, miss.
The man on the other side of the room, clad in a dark black suit and a long black cape, stands up.
$1 million.
Jan, bail.
$1 million? $1 million? I know, $1 million to the man in black. Thank you very much. Miss, do I have a counter bid?
Janet stands up, looks at the man in black, looks back at the auctioneer, and says, $1,000,005.
The auctioneer is flabbergasted.
$1.5 million for the Key of Unknown Origin, an artifact of mystery and wonder.
Now playing up the unknown nature of the object.
Do I have another bid, sir?
The man glares daggers at Jan. A rage that is palpable from the other side of the room.
Jan, they probably just made the key backstage. I don't think it goes anywhere.
The man sits down.
$1.5 million, going once, going twice. Sold to, Miss Reno. Look, everyone, June Reno, $1 million. As a performing magician, you realize that this will be, you'll be held to pay this.
Are you insulting me?
No, wouldn't dream of it, miss. Everyone give a round of applause for Miss Reno.
Janet saunters up to the stage and smiles curtly at the auctioneer accepting her item, and walks back to her seat, waving and thanking the crowd.
Looking over at the man clad in black, he is seething.
Hank whispers to Charlie, "Man, business must be good in Vegas. Jeez."
Janet leans over to Hank. Looks like I'm not making any friends tonight.
Fourth up on the block tonight. Everyone, I know you've been waiting very patiently, and I thank you. We have tonight's feature.
An object is wheeled out, covered by a curtain. The man whips the blanket off of the podium, and sitting on it is a very plain-looking gray stone. Looking very intently at this very small object from quite far away, there's a small glimmer of green in the center. Hank, make a perception check.
Nat 20.
Hank recognizes the green glint of an emerald.
Chuck, that's gotta be it. Get your paddle ready.
Oh, it's ready.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the clover. Said to have been used by St. Patrick himself to drive the snakes from Ireland, this artifact has remained dormant for at least a century. An incredible piece with a rich history. Shall we begin the bidding at $1 million?
Immediately, 10 paddles shoot up in the air.
Including Charlie's.
Oh my. Shall we say 2 million?
All the paddles remain.
Including Charlie's.
3 million.
Everything remains.
Shall we say 10 million?
4 paddles drop. 6 remain.
Charlie throws one slightly concerned look over to Kit.
Charlie keeps the paddle up, rolling his eyes.
Bless you, sir. Pardon me if I'm being presumptuous, ladies and gentlemen, but shall we say $20 million?
Only 2 paddles remain, including Charlie's.
Janet leans over to Charlie. Gee, who's bankrolling you guys?
Like I said, Jan, dangerous people.
Right.
Charlie tries to sneak a glance at the person who's competing for this item.
You see the paddle, but the body of the figure is completely cloaked in a black robe, hood and all.
Charlie then throws one more look over to Kit. Charlie nods, stands up and says,
$100 million.
From across the room you hear, 100 million going once.
The other paddle immediately drops.
Going twice? Sold for $100 million. Please, sir, come up and claim your prize.
Charlie stands up and starts to go towards the podium.
That's our cue, Jan. You want to come with? It'll be like old times.
You know me, always up for an adventure.
Hank, in the form of Uncle Jack, stands, presents his hand in a small bow for Jan.
Jan takes his hand and joins Hank walking towards the exit.
A large man stops them and says, "Pardon me, folks. Nobody exits until the auction is concluded. It's a security thing. I'm sure you understand."
Oh, but sir, it's me ticker. It's firing off. Took me father, it did. And now, it's taken me as well.
Roll a deception check, Hank.
21.
Oh, shit. All right. Hey, do you have somebody on the other side? Or
hey, do we have a doctor in here?
No. Me boy Seamus is on the other side waiting. This here's me daughter. She's taking me over now. She's a nurse herself.
Can't you see he's dying, sir? Let us go!
Jan, roll a deception check.
Nat 20.
Oh, okay, fine. Jesus Christ, I'll lose my job for this. Just make sure he's okay. He opens the door and lets you both pass.
As soon as they're through the door, Hank leans over and says, "We still got it."
We always did make a great team.
Why don't we go grab a drink upstairs while we wait for our escorts?
I thought you'd never ask.
Charlie goes up to the podium to claim his prize.
Charlie, the auctioneer gingerly hands you the clover. Just make sure you stand over there until the financial exchange is final.
Yes, of course.
Charlie puts the clover into his pocket.
And gingerly puts it into the switch bag.
Hank, outside in the tunnel, you suddenly feel a lump in your pocket.
That beautiful rock bastard did it. With a snap of his fingers, Hank turns back into his normal visage and heads upstairs.
The sound of the jazz band greets Hank and Jan as they walk up the stairs and gather up around the bar.
You still a vodka gimlet girl when you're not drinking Magma Bear menstrual blood?
Well, some things never change.
Hank walks up to the bar and orders the drinks.
Hey, look, it's Ticket Guy.
Do I still have enough on that dollar to get me another Scotch neat and a vodka gimlet for the lady?
The man rolls his eyes and goes about making the drinks. Back down in the Arcana auction, Kit comes up on Charlie's side as they sit waiting for the financial transaction to go through.
Ah, yes, my valet. Pay the man, valet.
Charlie, you bet $100 million?
It's an important item, Kit, and if you haven't noticed, a lot of the patrons here are pretty loaded. I couldn't let that slip through our fingers.
You realize bidding is incremental for a reason? You just increased the price by 500%. I am fronting the money for this. The organization, he looks at you with a lot of emphasis, is going to reimburse me, but this is really going to mess with all of my stocks and bonds that are all locked up. I'm going to have to get so much more liquid than I am right now.
Okay, so let me get this straight, Kit. The organization that has more money than God is gonna reimburse you, and you're complaining to me right now? But pay the man, valet.
I don't have the money available to pay them the sum that you said.
Kit, I assume you have some, maybe offshore accounts. You got some people that are willing to do you a few favors. Why don't you make a few calls? I'll wait.
Of course I do, Charlie, but
Make the call, Kit.
Roll an intimidation check.
10.
Kit rolls a 6. Taking a step back, a little offended and a little surprised, Kit wordlessly storms away and goes to a tall booth with a phone inside of it, glaring at Charlie as he does. The rest of the patrons take care of their transactions. Janet's husband pays off the auctioneer and then heads out the door. As the auctioneer reaches Charlie, so, how are we going about this $100 million thing?
Well, my valet is making a few calls at the moment, and we should have the funds to you directly. Sorry for the wait.
Of course, I understand. Things are ever changing. We'll give you some time. Charlie, after about 10 minutes, Kit emerges from the phone booth, looking livid, and gives you a nod.
The funds have been deposited, sir. Thank you for your business.
The auctioneer seems to check an earpiece of his own. Yes, indeed. Have a wonderful night, Mr.
McSweeney.
Mr. McSweeney, I have something to disclose you. That is the second most that has ever been spent on an item at this auction. Unbelievable. Thank you so much.
If I may ask, sir, what was the highest amount?
Oh, yes. I believe it was a total of $8 billion for a book called the Necronomicon, purchased a few years ago by that German fellow, I think he was.
Huh. Interesting. Well, thank you for your patronage, and you have yourself a nice day.
Hank into Charlie's ear says,
Great job, Chuck. Now ditch Kit as fast as he can.
Valet, will you please pull the car around?
Pull the car around? Chuck, who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Now listen here, valet, I don't pay you to stay around. Go out there and get the car.
Roll an intimidation check again.
27.
Kit rolls a 15 and furiously stalks off towards the door before storming back towards Charlie and says, If you're not upstairs in 10 minutes, I'm calling them. Understood? Kit stalks off out the auction door.
$100 million? Fella, you gotta be kidding me. You must be loaded.
Behind Charlie is John.
Oh, hello. Yes, I'm a big moneybags. That was a hell of a show you put on earlier. You really had me going.
Hey, thanks. Thanks a ton. Did you like the music, though?
Yes, it was very stirring.
Well, thanks. Actually, Janet lets me choose it. It's my big contribution.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what people really come away from a magic show with, the music choice. For sure.
Yeah, well, personally, I'm, into more Hawaiian stuff myself.
Oh, really? Do you know Aloha Oi?
Shut it. Shut the heck up. Shut it. Shut it up right now. You shut the heck up. Ah!
I can't. I love singing the song too much. You can't keep it shut.
Every single time that song comes on, I can't help but dance. I just get this dancey urge and I'm dancing. What is your name?
McSweeney. I'm a big moneybags.
McSweeney? I'm John. Hey, we should hang out and listen to records sometime.
I'd love that. I really would. Do you have a card? Do you have a telephone number?
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Totally sure.
He hands Charlie a card that says John and June Reno's Flights of Fancy with a phone number at the bottom.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sorry I don't have my card on me, or else I would give it to you, but why don't I call you?
That would be great. Oh, that would be great. Oh, man. Hey, you know what? I should probably go find my wife. Sorry. Woo!
All right, stay magical.
Oh, man. Did you just say that? That's a good one. I'm going to have to take that. Stay magical. That's how I would say it. Man, that is some good thinking. Stay
Charlie
magical.
speaks softly into his Atlantean earpiece to Hank. Hank, Kit's on the move.
Got it. Thanks, Chuck.
At the bar, Hank takes out a bit of wood on a string, dangles it by his middle finger, like a puppet and says the word sherbeshesh under his breath.
Gesundheit.
Sorry, Jan, I just had one more thing to tie up. Hank, having just cast Unseen Servant, speaks to seemingly no one. All right, now go out back and pop Kit's tires. On the double, Hank pulls out his buck knife, unsheaths it, and reaches it out to the invisible force, who takes it.
The knife suddenly floating in the air seems to mimic a salute, and then you see the knife float out the door. Hank, Janet, roll a stealth check.
32.
29.
Hank's eyes flit to the back of the room and see Kit Rockefeller angrily storming outside. As he passes, it seems that Kit might look over and notice the two of you at the bar.
Hank turns back to Jan, panicked that they'll be seen.
Janet sees Hank panic and goes in for a long, sensuous kiss.
As Kit storms past, he looks at the kissing couple, and continues to storm out the door. Suddenly, there's a voice behind Jan and Hank.
Oh, hey, am I interrupting?
Janet slowly pulls back and turns to see who's talking.
John stands behind the couple. His expression is indiscernible.
Hank's eyes go wide with panic. It's not what it looks like, John. You see,
Janet cuts in and says, "Well, hello, darling. Everything packed up?" And goes over and gives him a kiss on the cheek.
Yep. You ready to head out?
Momentarily. You remember my friend Hank?
Hank the Tank. Oof.
And he gives Hank a little wink.
Oh, John? And Hank looks back at Jan, really confused.
We got kind of an open thing going on.
Oh, man, Vegas is crazy.
Just then, Charlie comes through the door.
McSweeney! There he is!
Oh, hello, John. Good to see you again. Hank?
Oh, you two have met.
Yeah, we just bonded over our mutual love for Hawaiian music, and, he seems like a nice guy. He said he picked the tunes for your show tonight.
Honey, you know McSweeney?
Well, yes, my love. He works with Hank here.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very, very, very nice. I love that.
Well, I hate to break up this super awkward thing that just happened, but I think that's our cue to get out of here, McSweeney.
Now listen, I know we all just met, but anybody up for some ice cream? Lick.
The clover burning a hole in his pocket, Hank is getting nervous about Kit coming back.
Janet looks to Hank and Charlie, and then to John. John, dear, I actually have a little business to take care of with these boys. Would you mind going back to the hotel and waiting for me? And, don't go to sleep yet.
John bursts into a grin, kisses his wife on the cheek.
Well, listen, I'll see you all back at the hotel with my little ho. Ha-ho! Cheers.
Lifting completely with his back, he lifts 4 enormous suitcases, jerking upward, and waddles out of the bar.
It's not good for your back.
Hank picks up an ashtray from the bar and casts minor illusion on it, making it look exactly like the clover. Okay, Chuck, you take this to Kit. Jan and I will meet you at Dante's. Talk to me through the earpiece if you need anything.
You got it, Hank.
Hank and Jan exit out the back while Charlie heads out the front. Charlie, you see Kit Rockefeller screaming at his destroyed car. It would seem Hank's unseen servant was a little overzealous with the knife. All 4 tires are popped and there are massive scrapes in the paint job.
My fucking car!
Oh my God, Kid, what happened to your car?
Well, I don't fucking know, Charlie, do I?
Oh man, that is just awful. Listen, we all gotta split up, all right?
No, we don't gotta split up. You stand there, I've got people coming.
Kid, we don't want anyone to see us together, that's the whole point. But look, here, I'll give you the clover. Just take it. Charlie holds out the magically manipulated ashtray. Get it, take it, and run.
Kit looks at it for a moment, seems to accept it almost immediately, and pockets it. Fuck. Fine. I'll be in touch. This isn't over yet. You better be by the goddamn phone, Charlie.
Charlie gives him a shrug. Where else would I be, Kit? And Charlie walks off, trying to meet up with Hank and Jan.
Hank and Jan exit the alley they came out into and start walking back to Dante's Inferno a different route.
Well, Hank, it seems like you guys are in a bit of trouble here. And I think I could be helpful. But I don't work for free.
Now there's the Janet McComb I remember. What do you want?
Well, I don't want your money or nothing. But if I can be helpful to you, which I hope I can, I'm interested in something I think you might have. A dark hat? That bring any bells?
The dark hat, huh? Yeah, we got one of those back at Dante's. What do you want with the dark hat?
Did I ask you what you were gonna do with your little clover?
Yep, fair enough. Who am I to judge? Hank pulls out his hip flask and takes a long swig. Care to join me in a belt of scotch?
Pass it over.
Hank passes it over. Man, running through back alleys, swindling rubes, drinking on the job, this really does take me back.
We were just a couple of kids, weren't we? Our whole lives in front of us.
Yeah. If you had told me back then that 10 years you'd be famous in Vegas and I'd be a one-eared lowlife in the gutter, I would have called you crazy.
You know, being famous isn't the only thing about me that's changed.
Oh, you mean John? What's the deal there, anyway? I mean, I thought he was milquetoast, but damn.
He might surprise you one day.
Oh, really?
Probably not, but he gets the job done. Plus, he's the only reason I get to play my big shows in Vegas. Not a lot out there for just a girl by herself.
Well, that's bullshit. You were doing all the magic by yourself. He didn't do anything except for chew the scenery with those dumb faces.
You know, men have a hard time accepting when women have more power. And he doesn't. And I love him for it.
Well, I never had a hard time with that. You were always more powerful than me by a long shot.
But you wouldn't give anything up for me, would ya? New York was just too precious.
I don't know. Can you picture me out there in Vegas with all those fancy, good-looking people? I mean, this raggedy old face in Vegas. On the strip, going to shows. What would I have done?
Well, you're not raggedy. Just a little tired is all. But you're right. I think you would have been miserable.
Well, you can't change the past. Let's just be happy that we get a moment here in the present.
I know I am.
Hank and Janet eventually reach the entrance to Dante's Inferno, where Charlie is waiting for them on the stoop.
Chuck, you get rid of Kit? Did he buy it?
Oh, he bought it. He is so mad.
Good, as long as we can put the Illuminati off our tail for just a little bit longer. Let's go upstairs and give Ahern a call. I don't know why he didn't show.
If you boys don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead in and change my clothes.
As she walks in, Charlie turns to Hank and says, "You were awkward. I heard the whole thing. You were so awkward. Stop being awkward. That's it."
Shit, Chuck, what am I supposed to do? That was the craziest situation I've ever been in. And I have killed 36 werewolves.
35.
Skinwalkers count. Hank and Chuck wait for the elevator to come back down.
They step aboard?
I mean, it's a guy who turns into kind of a wolf guy. It's a fucking werewolf.
And then make their way into Dante's Inferno.
Jan is now in a deep purple velvet 3-piece travel suit. She looks immaculate, as always.
The phone is ringing off the hook.
Hank walks over and picks it up. Dante's Inferno, home of magic and mystery. This is Hank speaking.
Oh, there he is. Now he shows up. Hank, where the fuck is Charlie?
Tell him I'm not here. Tell him I'm not here.
I don't know where Charlie is, Kit. I'm not his keeper. He's his own person.
Well, the Illuminati gave you both the job, Hank, so you better find him, because your partner gave me a fucking ashtray. Is he there? Put him on the phone.
Yikes.
Like I said, Kit, he's not here.
Hank, roll a deception check.
18.
Put him on the phone. I want him to talk to someone.
Hank covers the receiver. He says he has someone to talk to you. And he doesn't buy that you're not home. Hank hands the phone to Chuck.
Hey, Kit. Oh, wow. You okay? How's your car? What? Millie?
Central Park, Charlie. 20 minutes.
Kit, I swear to God, if you harm her...
The phone hangs up.
Kit? Kit, you son of a bitch, where is she? Kit's got Millie. I don't know, she might be in trouble.
Special someone, I'm guessing?
Yeah, pretty special.
Suddenly, there's a frantic knocking at the door.
Hank walks over and peeks through the peephole.
You see the dirty, battered face of Ahern.
He opens the door. Ahern, what the hell? Where were you?
You immediately notice several gunshot wounds in Ahern's torso, and he falls through the open door.
Shit, Chuck, help me get him in. With Charlie's help, Hank drags Ahern over to the leather armchair by the fireplace.
As soon as he slams down into the chair, Ahern begins to frantically sign, 3 bullets, not much time left. Get this shit out of me.
Oh my God, who is that poor man?
It's the leprechaun I told you about. Here, help me stop the bleeding.
He's filthy.
Jan, help me stop the bleeding.
All right.
Hank, roll a medicine check with advantage.
21.
Hank gathers sheets and towels and presses them on Ahern's wounds.
It's okay. Just stay with me, buddy.
And then goes over to the wooden globe, pulls out a potion, and dunks it into the leprechaun's mouth. Right before your very eyes, some of the bullet wounds begin to suture up.
Wow.
Ahern's breathing slows. And he begins to well up with tears. And he signs, "They jumped us. We were on our way, and they jumped us."
Who jumped you, Ahern?
He doesn't know how to say it in sign language, so he simply holds up a triangle shape with his hands.
The Illuminati.
Is Deirdre okay?
Ahern is silent and then casts his eyes down towards the floor.
Ugh. Damn it. They're one step ahead of us every time. First Millie, now this. Ahern, we got your clover. Can you help us get Millie back and get out of here?
Ahern seems unsure, but signs, "Who's that?" as he stares over at Jan.
Who, me? Well, my name's Janet. I'm a friend of these boys, Mr. Leprechaun, sir.
You can trust her, Ahern. She's a friend.
After glaring at Jan for a beat, Ahern looks back to Hank, his confidence shaken, grief overwhelming him, and he signs, "What do we do?"
Hank walks to the vault and grabs the prism and brings both the prism and the clover to Ahern. I don't know, you tell me. Why was it so important that we grab these if he couldn't do anything with them?
Ahern stands up, shakily, almost not believing his eyes as he holds his hands out to receive the prism and the clover.
Hank places both items into Ahern's hands.
Both seem to glimmer a bit as he touches them. His brow furrows in determination, looks at all of you for a beat, and sliding the prism into his pocket, "I can do this. I'm gonna need a minute." Slowly, he pulls a light that's on a bent hinge and flicks it on, turning all the other lights in Dante's Inferno off. As he does, he pulls the prism out of his pocket, holds it to the light, and it gently casts a faint rainbow on the floor. Ahern seems to wave at everybody to back up, and he steps forward, kneeling down to the rainbow cast on the rug, and places the clover down on the ground. Each imprinted leaf on the stone lights up gold as the clover begins to store magical energy cast through the prism. And after all 4 leaves of the clover on its face are glowing, it seems to return to an ordinary state. Ahern picks the clover up, palms it, and signs, "All right, boys, I'm in it for the long haul. What's the plan?"
Hank looks at Chuck and Jan. I've got a plan, but it's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, I don't care. Let's go.
Well, I'm in. Jan raises her fist, and all of a sudden, a burst of blue lightning shoots up towards the ceiling. And did I mention, I've been upgrading.
Let's go get Millie back.
Hit it, boys! Yeah, just like that. Watch your step when you step outside. The roads are narrow and the river's wide, and no one knows what waits inside. So watch your step when you step outside. Outside. And watch your step when the path is slick. The shadows here can play a dirty trick, and moonlight's such a fickle guide. So watch your step when you step outside. You want your freedom.
This has been a Hero Club production, produced by Nick Williams, George Primavera, and Jack Quaid, with associate producers Marty Abbe-Schneider and Dylan McCollum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Jack Quaid, Lelia Symington, PJ Byrne, Marty Abbe-Schneider, and Clay Westman. Theme song written and performed by Matthew McCullum. Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod and Ben Doyle for their amazing music, Mage Hand Press for their genius D&D 5th edition homebrew, Marty Abbe-Schneider for his incredible artwork, and Ali Catanese, our hero. Thanks for listening to this episode of Paid Back in Spades, a Hank Blackstone mystery.
Keep tuning in to members only and our social media at Hero Club Podcast to keep in the loop about some very exciting new stuff coming up the road. And hey, welcome to the club.
Hank is T-boned by this.
T-boned. Hank dies at an intersection because of this.
Oh yeah, I want to like accidentally talk in my voice.